I'm Judy Shaw for NYSE Floor Talk. Joining me today is Andrew Spodek. He is CEO at Postal Realty Trust. Andrew, it's wonderful to have you here. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
A pleasure. So now, Andrew, tell me about Postal Realty Trust. How did you come to be?
So first and foremost, my father didn't even realize that the Postal Service leased their assets. He owned various different types of properties and was brought a small portfolio of postal properties in the early 80s. He bought them and learned very early on what I guess we've proven out to be true, which is the Postal Service very rarely leaves their property. Over the past 10 plus years, we've had close to 100% retention rate. They pay 100% of their rent 100% of the time. And because of the preferential lease structure, we're able to own and operate these properties all over the country without the need for on-site personnel. My father semi-retired in the early 2000s. I took over. We continued to grow the portfolio, became the largest owner of leased assets. Probably about 5-6 years ago, I was approached by a banker to create a public company around our assets. And we went public about 4 years ago. And here we are.
Here you are on the New York Stock Exchange. And I bet there are so many out there that didn't realize that the post office actually leases their space.
Most people still don't even realize it.
I didn't realize until we actually started talking. So Andrew, tell me, give me more detail on how Postal Realty Trust acquisitions go beyond just investing in attractive real estate with a strong and stable tenant.
Yeah, so arguably the Postal Service is the best credit tenant you're going to find. What people also don't realize is the Postal Service is probably the largest and most intricate logistics network in this country, if not in the world. They touch 165 million delivery points, 5 to 6 days a week. Arguably the target market of every online retailer you're going to find. And in order to tap into this network, every delivery provider utilizes it. Amazon, FedEx, UPS, because in order to get to the last mile and get to the American people, this is the logistics network. And that's what we're buying and that's what we're investing in.
Now, what's your value prop and how are you different from other REITs?
So, again, we have arguably the best credit tenant you're going to find. We have a very simple story and a very, very simple business. We're investing in these properties at very attractive capitalization rates. So we're buying in the 6 to 8% capitalization rate range. They're accretive out of the gate. We're aggregating what is a very fragmented business. So the Postal Service pays about $1.4 billion in rent on all the properties that they lease. That's a $12 to $15 billion market. We're the largest owner of these assets, and we only own 6% of the market. The next 20 largest owners altogether only own about 11%. So you've got 80% of these up for grabs. It's a very fragmented market. You've got 23,000 of these facilities owned by 17,000 people. So there's a real opportunity there and a real runway to aggregate the space.
So Andrew, here's something that I find very unique about your company. You and your board of directors take your entire compensation in PSTL stock.
That's correct.
Tell me about that.
Don't take any cash compensation, and neither does the board. A lot of the NEOs take a majority of their compensation in PSTL equity. We're as aligned with shareholders as you can possibly be.
All right. Well, Andrew, wonderful to talk with you.
Nice
Thanks for joining me on Floor Talk.
Thank you. Happy to be here.